Hi, and welcome back to Turning the Page with Bill Turner.
And I'm Selena Gomez.
An arrest has been made in the carjacking that happened on Bunker Hill earlier today. The man apprehended was Hector Martinez, a 33-year-old Mexican immigrant who was in the United States illegally. Authorities are looking into possible ties to white supremacy and getting him amnesty. Wait, what?
Thank you, Bill. Today, a 45-year-old Korean man was beaten severely by a pair of teens while jogging through Angel Park. The teens, likely white supremacists, have been identified as LaMarcus Washington of Franklin Heights and Lil Starburst from SoundCloud. They were taken into custody and immediately released on $0 bail.
How is that white supremacy?
Bill, we're not here to ask questions. We're journalists. Now here's some weather with Buck Wild. I hope you're bringing us some good news here, Buck.
Wish I could, Selena. But we are under a tornado watch in effect until 10 p.m. For those of you that don't already know, a tornado is a narrow, violently rotating column of air that emanates from the deeply embedded systematic racism of our country. The funnel is made up of water droplets, dust, and seething white rage. If you're in the path of this storm, we advise that you take shelter immediately. Unless you're outside fighting racial injustice. In that case, you should be just fine.
Ahoy, and welcome back to Normal World.
Yeah.
I am your host, Dave Landau, joined by my co-host...
Black Garrett, that's me. That's your boy.
That's right. And I'm also very happy to have on my friend who also just wrote the book, The White Pill. I can't believe I flubbed that immediately. And I've read it.
10 takes, and that was the best one.
I know, right? Look, we're just going to have to stick with this one. Don't tell anyone it's not live.
Wait a minute. Why is it Normal World and not Normal World?
It is
Normal
it's
World.
Normal World.
Normal World.
Yeah, why is it not Normal World?
It is Normal World.
It's a normal world.
But you said Normal World.
What did I say?
Oh, he's putting the wrong emphasis on the...
Yeah, you said
syllable.
Normal World instead of Normal World.
Oh, I talk from the Midwest.
Oh.
I sound silly. We all sound
He's a silly
silly up
boy.
there. Up in Michigan where we don't say things right. Do you want to pop while you're here?
Some Fago.
Get out of here with that pop.
Yes, I'm Fago. We can go to the ICP show, the Juggalo Gathering.
I heard that was your nickname in high school.
It was. The Gathering of the Juggalos is what they used to call me. They used to call me Juggalette Dave.
Are you down with the clown?
Hey,
whoop,
yeah.
whoop.
Hey, if you're watching right now and you're not subscribed on Blaze TV, you can subscribe and get 20% off with normal 20 code. Lets them know that you went there because of us, so we appreciate it.
That was a smooth segue.
I thought it was. I barely even noticed it was a segue.
Yeah.
Really right into it.
I have a segue.
Really? Did you ride off a cliff like the creative segue?
Isn't that the best? Though?
Did he
the
do that?
best?
That's how he died.
Dean Kamen died?
Right
Yeah.
off the side of a cliff.
By riding a Segway.
No, you're lying.
He was
I'm
like,
serious.
look how it could stop on a dime. Woo!
In his fairness, when you're going that fast, you just got to go
And
with
in
it.
his fairness, there were no dimes on that cliff.
No.
True.
That's true.
Yeah, they forgot there was
I also like that a
oversight.
guy named Tom Cruise, spelled differently, has that hover round chair. He's like, I'm the inventor of the hover round, Tom Cruise, but it's C-R-U-Z.
He really tried to make that happen.
Yeah.
Did you know that Dean Kamen's dad was one of the artists for the old Tales from the Crypt comics from the
Really?
50s?
That's awesome.
Dude, those are awesome.
It means he did something amazing, and his kid's dead.
And now his kid's in the crypt,
I know, right? Tales from the Crypt.
So sad.
starring Dean Kamen.
My son's stupid walking stick.
Tragic.
Anyway, let's get into it, guys, real quick with the monologue. According to a new intelligence report, the Russian Navy is stocking up on one of its best defense weapons against Ukraine, military-trained dolphins. In response, Ukrainian President Zelensky has requested the U.S. to provide him with $75 billion worth of soda can rings.
Those are amazing. I want more of those.
It's going to work.
The lasers,
What
the
what
freaking
is
dolphins.
what is an intelligent report?
Just anything I Googled. I'm sorry. Ask Jeeves. We do have sponsors.
Yeah, we have a sponsor. It's Ask Jeeves.
An intelligent report.
So that he's using dolphins. I promise that came from an intelligent report.
Yes, we thought about it a long time. In sports news, which I know everybody here cares a whole lot about it.
We do.
LSU won the men's College World Series in baseball after a decisive victory over Florida. I think I can speak for everybody here and across the country when I say who and
no one gives a shit. Right. Yeah.
Language.
I'm sorry. Heck.
Shoot. Darn.
Boom.
That's going to make people mad.
It will. In a series of videos posted to Twitter, Democratic presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. showed off his muscular physique. Not to be outdone, President Joe Biden showed an intern his shoe that he thought was a telephone.
Well, it's just any other day
He got smart.
in the office.
Yes. If I thought it was real, pulled an antenna out of it. And there's just crap all over it. Was that major?
Sir?
Major leave it?
Don't do that again. Madonna is intensive care after she was found unresponsive on Saturday.
Is that
She's
true?
been- yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been fighting an infection. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doctors don't know what it is
How
yet.
could a disease
but,
get an infection?
Well,
You've pretty much just taken the joke.
there you go.
Oh, sorry. I'll shut up. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
No, it's fine.
The joke
No,
isn't.
It's clearly, that is what the hypothesis is that it is Madonna.
Yeah, they came in and they were like, it's your face. I don't know
Yeah.
if we have a cure, but I'm guessing we don't.
We don't need to diagnose this. We know.
Dude, it's her face. I don't understand what well, I do understand.
apparently-
Age will get you.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
I'm sorry. That's not age.
No,
We've seen
I
old
mispronounced AIDS.
people. Good Lord.
It'll get you.
Well, I don't know what's going on. Like, she really was stunning at one point.
Yeah.
No, she wasn't. She was never stunning.
A little
She was
bit.
charismatic.
That's
Stunning? Come on.
I mean, a little bit.
No.
Come on.
why are you
Stunning?
fighting on this? I don't know. I think
Have you
she
ever
was.
seen her in person? Like, she's like a 5 foot.
When did you see her in person? I think that is
I
what
have
matters.
never seen her. But the point is, if you saw her without the video stuff, she never looked like jaw dropping.
Maybe at like 20.
When she was chubby with that little beer belly,
Yeah.
like
What?
remember the Pulp Fiction they were talking
We
about that?
call that attainable
Yeah,
here on
what's
the
up with
show,
that?
Michael.
Yeah, that's
You just like her because she's from Michigan.
Well, she's from the Detroit area.
Yeah.
she's
So I
busted
have
like
to
a
like.
Michigan.
Well, yeah, but
Like
she
the
also
car.
thinks she's from Britain, so that doesn't help. When you change the way you speak and just decide to have an accent because you married Guy Ritchie, how do you? I hate that about. Oh, I've
What is
just
up
been
with
over
that?
in England for a bit. No, you're from Detroit.
No. Didn't she actually explicitly say she was taking elocution lessons to talk like that?
Yes,
Why would you? That's so pretentious.
Because she's crazy.
That's so pretentious.
Yes.
because she stole Little Kim's face.
Just put it right on. I'm
and,
not
and
here.
some little girl's adrenochrome.
Yes. And now she's getting semen pumped out of her stomach.
Oh, my
No, I'm sorry. What? That was. I shouldn't
She's
have
in the
gone that far.
ICU, guys. She's
The
not
show's going to
doing
get
well.
canceled. I'm
She's not
sorry
doing
for those
okay.
watching at home. I'm sure she's never swallowed.
Yeah, I'm sure she's fine.
Internal cum unit. Is that what ICU stands for in this case?
Remember that every time a superstar, like female, would be hospitalized, that was the rumor?
No, I
Yeah.
don't remember.
You know, she
Stomach
got her stomach pumped from, all the stuff she swallowed.
Bro, I heard it.
That was in high school, everybody. That was
What
the rumor.
high school did you go to?
Every high school in America. Because he knows what I'm talking
I know
about.
what you're talking about.
Did you hear the rumors,
was in
Angela?
Yeah. Yeah, a couple
like,
times.
That's
Why
what
is she out?
honestly people would say. Like, Lil' Kim was in the hospital because she swallowed so many loads, bro.
Is that
And you'd be
Backstage,
like,
dude.
and then you'd be like, there's no way, but maybe.
Do you ever watch the music videos, bro? Dude, I have.
I've got so many punchlines right now, and I have to save them for after the show.
No, please use them now.
I
Roll
can't.
them.
Why?
Because we'll get in trouble.
Let's get in trouble.
No, like not the good kind of trouble.
Oh, I gotcha.
Oh.
I see.
Oh, like Roseanne, not good trouble.
I gave her that joke.
Did you really?
Yes.
That she's in trouble for?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about this. What was the joke that's in question?
Okay, so I wrote a book called The New Right. Right, and I'm Jewish. I went to yeshiva. As part of the joke, as part of the book, I did research into the alt-right and the new right. But there, as you go further in the book, the people get darker and darker, more removed from the mainstream, right? And at a certain point, I'm talking to actual like neo-Nazis or however they identify, racial identitarians. I am probably the only person, I know I'm the only person who's both at Charlottesville and in North Korea. So the interesting thing, and I'm using the word interesting very loosely, is a lot of these people who are Holocaust. I never met a Holocaust denier. I didn't do a lot of investigation.
Right.
And when you meet them,
We just had lunch.
and then we had to take you to the hospital
Yeah, sorry.
because your stomach got full or something.
Sir, you said at the beginning of this
And
that
I'm
you're
exhausted.
Yeah, you're like, excuse me, I have to go to the bathroom, and I came back 4 hours later.
So what was insane is that a lot of these neo-Nazis who are Holocaust deniers, they don't deny it happened at all. They just say the numbers are exaggerated. So it's like, wait. So you're saying it was hundreds of thousands, and like that's something like it's kind of hard to wrap your head around.
Still bad.
So, but the thing is, they are like, the Holocaust didn't happen, but should have. Like, that's their mentality. It's just like they're trying to have it both ways, that Hitler was not really a bad guy, but then he had good goals, so on and so forth. So I told that line to Roseanne, and she thought it was hilarious. She's also Jewish, family Holocaust survivors.
Yeah.
And so she made that quip on Theo Vaughn's show very sarcastically, and people took it
Do
out
people
of...
not know that she's Jewish?
Well, let's air
They don't care.
if it's all right.
Don't you
true.
get it? They
It's
don't
the
care.
internet. I forgot. I asked
What
a
was that
stupid question.
introductory segment? Larry Elder is the black face of white supremacy, right?
Yeah.
It's your own joke.
Let's
Quote,
air
joke.
the clip for the audience, if that's all right.
Sure.
You can't say that, like, you know,
The
there was
election was
election.
rigged or-
Yeah,
right.
that's all a lie. The election was not rigged. 36 counties can.
Have 81 million votes, she said, and 6 million. That you're cutting the clip there?
Did it cut it
Okay.
off? Was there more than that?
Yeah, there's a lot
there
more.
more of the
She
clip?
talks
There
about the
was
Holocaust. That's the.
We're going for the Holocaust bit. Okay.
Okay.
I'm getting in my ear now that they say
Oh,
we can't say
We actually,
those words.
yeah, we've been canceled now.
We've been
so we can't.
canceled.
Oh, well, that
This
was
will
our
never air.
doing. That was kind of our doing.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, I see.
You guys
Yeah,
are
yeah.
right on top of
Should
it.
have
Yeah,
known
yeah,
with
yeah.
the nose.
How do you guys run the Blaze? Really got your hands in every cookie jar.
Dave, we're like AIDS. We're everywhere.
I know, right? And
Can't shake
cured.
'em.
Well, they tried.
Anyway, so that was the line. She was making the point that there are things that are unspeakable in
Right.
common culture, and some things like Holocaust denial are things regarded as beyond the pale. And she was saying, thanks to YouTube, they were saying that claims about the Biden's having more votes than any president in history are being treated in the same way as denying a genocide. And she's like, this is, making the point that this is just absolutely crazy to treat these two things as equivalently unspeakable. And then it's like Roseanne, and then she had the next line about how quoting the Nazi perspective, like, oh, well, the 6 million didn't die, but they should have right now. And they took that as her saying it from her own perspective.
Do you not understand context and
They don't-
people saying
No one
things in a
cares.
character? Like what?
Garrett, they
I know.
understand. They don't care.
So dumb, dude.
It's not dumb at all. It's very smart because now everyone's talking about it, and enough unintelligent people are forever going to have her in their head as a Holocaust denier. And when you bring up, well, she's Jewish, and this is a big issue
Doesn't
for her.
matter.
It's water off a duck's back. Unless they hear Don Lemon explain it to them, they do not register
like,
the information.
Give me the download.
Yes, exactly.
Or else I'm going to continue believing what I believe.
Isn't it the perfect candidate, too, though? Because you already have this idea that she's this racist because of what happened on her show.
Right.
Not on her show, on her Twitter.
Well,
It was
on
a Twitter-
but
Yeah.
then the entire show stabbed her in the back. Let's be
Right.
completely honest about that, which I
Yes.
think is extremely sad.
Somehow still on the air.
Which
I
I
don't
don't
understand that.
get for the one
How
daughter.
How the hell do you have an entire show called Roseanne? Then you remove
They
Roseanne.
should have called it the Hogan family.
Yeah, they really should have.
Should have called it the
I just don't
Backstabbers.
like how it's called the Connors.
Well,
They
do you
just
know what's
switched
even
the name.
what? Do you know what's even funnier is that the part of Peggy Bundy was written for Roseanne. She passed, and they gave it to Katie Seagal, and Katie Seagal replaced her on this Connor show.
Yeah, we were talking about that, and Sam Kinison was supposed to be Al Bundy.
Yeah.
Which
I told Roseanne said that she thought Al Bundy was supposed to be her. Like, I don't understand how that would have
Oh,
worked.
maybe she was like the lead character in
Yeah.
that show, and they flipped it when
Yeah.
they took Roseanne out.
I don't know. That's what she
that would
said.
explain it though for selling women's shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It actually would make sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Like, that's her. Like, Al hates his job. You could very easily Roseanne Barr having that job and like being miserable.
Yeah.
And then the husband, she's like, ugh, leave me alone. I don't want to,
And just because just roasting every single
Yeah.
comic every single fat woman that walked
Yes.
in was the joke. I mean,
Yeah.
that really what
Right,
it
yeah.
was insulting every customer, hating her life, coming home and hating her children.
And do you know what else is funny about that show is that the DVDs don't have the theme song because it's Sinatra and they couldn't get the rights.
Oh, really?
And it's such
Really?
an iconic theme song they can't have it on the DVDs.
Oh, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it's too bad though, and I think it's something that's just going to keep happening with her because they have her as a punching bag.
Yeah.
So I don't think that she's ever going to have a mainstream reboost. But why would she? Why would it matter?
Who
Because-
cares anymore?
I disagree.
You don't need a
she's-
mainstream
but-
anymore.
But there is no mainstream.
Well,
Exactly.
I just a couple of things. First of all, she's the one who knocked the Cosby Show off of #1. Her
Yeah.
show was getting 40 million.
I love that show.
A week.
Of course.
There's no level of fame now other than, like, let's suppose the president that's comparable to the level of fame she had.
Right.
In the 80s, there's no level of nothing.
Nothing.
Compare, even Cosby, whatever. That changed the way that people looked at race in the 80s, regardless of how
Sure.
stuff has changed now. If you look at the level of fame people had in the 80s, what is considered a massive bomb in the 80s would be astronomical
Yes.
viewing numbers
Correct.
today.
Because everything's
Correct.
so disparate now. It's all separated. And Roseanne came in a time where all the sitcoms were very, like, tight-knit, very clean-cut families. And her family was a very...
It was a mess.
It was a mess all the time.
They didn't put, like, whore paint on her. She was like a
Right.
slob on that show. You know, they
Right.
dressed down, but she's like, look, it's a busy mom. She's not going to have these contoured cheekbones
Yeah,
and so
and
on
that's
and
why
so
it's
forth.
so relatable.
But I will point this out. Her new podcast just dropped, and Amazon podcast promoted it. So
Good.
something that I think conservatives don't appreciate, because conservatives are really kind of invested in being punching bags,
Yeah.
is cancel culture is not what it was 3 or 4 years ago. People are getting uncanceled. She's not. If Amazon's promoting her,
Yeah.
if Theo Vaughn has her on,
Oh, yeah.
Rogan has her all the time. People are not being made as radioactive as now. I'm not saying it's nothing. Calm down, guys. I'm not saying it has vanished. I'm just saying compared to what it was 3 or 4 years ago, and a large part of this is thanks to Elon. Because if you have one outlet where people are kind of uncancelable for the most part, it kind of puts the pressure on the others to be like, well, if we try to cancel them, it's not really going to work. So what's the point?
Right. Well, I think it's also because something that was mainstream and popular is now reversing to where everybody else is kind of tired of it and has created their own
Yes.
things like
Yeah,
we're sitting at
absolutely.
right now. That's slowly going to become the mainstream if it isn't already.
Yes.
So they're still going to be loud and try to make noise and try to get her to be quiet. But the reality is Joe Rogan's show that she's on is far more relevant than the Connors.
Yes.
Nobody
Right.
sits down and was like, "Did you watch the Connors?"
Well, I was actually really,
so good.
really kind of, I would say, enraged because there was a very famous, iconic episode of Roseanne where Roseanne and Dan found weed that they had like in some shirt from high school, and they smoked it, and it was just
Yeah.
kind of a big deal that ABC was running this.
Right,
yeah.
And I was just looking at Roseanne Connor's clips on YouTube, and there was an episode where Dan took too many edibles, and I'm like, this is literally the same plot.
Yeah,
like
they're
it's one thing to
recycling
be
it
like
already.
rebooting a show, but to be recycling the identical plot, have you no shame, sir?
Yeah, and I'd like to also see them recycle the one where they won the lottery and killed Dan because her and Tom were doing so much cocaine. They just wanted to, it was the most absurd season of
Well,
television.
Tom was long gone by then.
Was he long gone for that
Yes,
season?
yes.
That was the worst episode of television just because there was way too much drugs
Worst
going on.
episode ever, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
and I
a
mean
very
that and I
special
mean that as
episode.
a fan. But I miss these special episodes of that one was
every show.
That was just a special season.
Every show had that special episode that, would be a drug episode or a gun episode.
Well,
Fresh Prince did like
Especially
8 of them.
Small Wonder, too.
Oh yeah, there was a very special episode. Yeah, he made 2 robots and didn't leave his room.
No, there was Vanessa.
Together.
Vanessa
What
was the
happened?
bad robot.
Oh yeah,
Oh, it was like a evil. They did that
Yeah.
in Star Trek too.
Yeah.
She wouldn't blow him.
She
Dave,
said, she
good
said no.
Lord.
What? We
Can't
can
say
beep
no
that beep
anymore.
that out.
Okay.
Don't bleep that out.
My favorite special episode ever was Elf, and on it he got addicted to cotton because it turned out it made him high. So he's up all night and he's singing like New York, New York and dancing the puppet, which I love because the show's written by Jerry Stahl, who at the time is a heroin addict.
Right.
So you have Elf, the cat-eating alien, up all night high. So the next morning, Elf wakes up, and there's the most serious talking to he gets from the dad on the show about addiction, who, by the way, the dad is secretly addicted to crack and black dudes. So the dad is giving Elf this serious, like,
What an
"Elf,
actor.
you don't understand the problems with addiction." And Elf turns around and sneaks out of a bottle of aspirin the cotton and puts it in his mouth to eat. And the dad just loses his mind on the puppet. It is, and the first time I saw it, I was on so much acid that it just took me to another place where I was like, I can't believe this exists.
I can't believe I have an opportunity to tell my behind-the-scenes Alf story.
Please tell me.
Which
Go.
I do have, and I don't know that I could tell who told it to me. But basically, this person was an actor on a couple of episodes of Alf, and you were not allowed to address Alf as a puppet, and you had to look at the Alf and not the puppeteer. And there was one scene, I'm not making any of this
you
up.
had to dress it like he was real, like he was a real
yes,
person.
and there was one scene where the dad and the daughter and the mom, they're trying to figure out the joke. Would be funny if I had the punchline, whatever. The dad loses it and starts screaming, "We're all the puppet! We're all the puppet!" I'm not making. I swear, hand to God, I'm making this up. And then the guy I know turns to the director and he's like, "Is it always like this?" And he goes, "Yeah."
Yes.
Every day. They were all second banana.
Or he goes, "No." I don't remember which one it was. They're both very funny.
Yeah.
Have you read
Equally.
Permanent Midnight?
What's that? No, I never heard of it.
It's by Jerry Stahl, who was the writer of Elf.
Yeah.
And it's just a fantastic book about just this junkie. And he's a great author, and obviously in recovery now, but who wrote the show and just like coming up with the ideas, and it's just like you shoot it in your arm and it's like, I think I have an idea for today's
That explains Alf completely.
Oh, of course. I mean, it wasn't created by him, but it was
But the story?
easily put together by him after,
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that seems completely accurate, though.
We're all the puppet. We're all the puppet.
We're all the puppet.
I love that you can't, like, the puppet's going to complain you looked it in the eye.
No, you have to look the puppet in the eye.
you
Oh,
have
you
to,
had
like,
to.
You
You
can't
have
look
to
at the
treat it.
puppeteer.
Oh, I
to
thought it
treat
was
it
the
like it's a
opposite of the
real-
Neil Diamond
No,
thing.
no, you have to look at the puppet
Look
in the
at
eye.
me in the eye.
Yeah.
I'm real.
Oh, I missed that show.
It was not good.
No, it wasn't.
There was
but
parts of it
again,
that were
massive
good.
hit.
Entertaining.
All I can remember
But there
is
was like
Mrs.
4
Achmonic.
channels. There was 4 channels back then.
5.
It ate cats.
No, 4. You're right. It was 4. It was 4.
It's 4 channels. So like everybody watched those 4 channels.
No,
so everything blew up.
he wanted to eat cats.
Yeah, they wouldn't let
But he
him.
wasn't
Yeah.
allowed to eat
Yeah.
the
But when he ate pillows, he got high on the
Stuffing's good, dude.
Speaking of high, the United Nations recently warned that poor people lack access to opioids. The UN's World Drug Report says 86% of the world's population has too little access to pharmaceutical opioids, which brings us to our half-ass top 10.
Sorry.
That's it's okay.
Farts are funny.
They always work.
Always. Never not funny.
Number 6, Garrett.
Relief Mountain Dew.
Number 5, medicinal cigarettes for children. Number 4, Mike.
I don't have a teleprompter.
We'll go to me then.
Oh, there. Bacha Bazi boys for American soldiers.
Number 3, human trafficking.
Number 2, this guy showing up.
No, not that guy.
No, you got to
me.
show
Is
the
that
picture.
me?
There he
Oh,
is.
okay.
Remember that guy?
Third world
Great-
Santa
great
Claus.
For a price of a cup of coffee a day, we can try to get some of the flies off your face.
Do you know why the flies are on the faces?
I don't.
I learned this from a North Korean refugee.
Don't tell me they did something.
Flies know when you're about to die. So they go to the anus and the mouth.
Really?
Yep.
That's
The flies are the first
so
to
sad.
know.
That
So-
would explain the buzzing sounds when I go to bed.
So that kills this segment. What's number 1?
I was going to say, you guys already, it's top 10 things the UN thinks poor people need more of.
And what was
Oh,
number
I didn't
1?
even announce
No,
it?
no, it's okay though.
Either way.
We'll
number
fix it in
1.
post.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Yeah.
number one?
Let me do it. Yeah. Number
do it.
1. Mike.
Pointless wars.
There
Yay.
you go. And if we could just add this top 10 pointless things. Wait, what is it?
The UN thinks poor people need more of.
Top 10 pointless things the UN thinks people need more of.
Truly half-assed.
There you go.
Half-ass top
Yeah,
10.
that was.
Well,
the
I
most
didn't
half-assed.
see it written in there, so
It was.
well, don't.
Well, hey, don't. Was that lip?
Sarah Gonzalez
Was
is
that
spinning
lip?
in
Did
her
we hear
grave.
lip?
Yes, well, I think it was just fine. Thank you.
Well,
Nobody said I was an English major, just a major.
we're all dumb here. Yesterday, I actually went to Dallas.
Did you?
Yeah, I went to Dallas. It was
What do you mean you went to
105.
Dallas?
I went downtown Dallas because
Oh,
this
okay.
isn't Dallas.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh, okay.
We like to have fun here.
yeah, we like to have a little fun, and I have a challenge, and I went and found some contestants. So please,
Oh, cool.
Yeah, roll the clip. Today we're in the beautiful city of Dallas, downtown at the Clyde Warren Park. We're gonna play the $100 challenge, where we offer contestants $100 or a physical feat.
We offer them physical.
Not physical feat, because that would be weird.
You physically
Like severed
offer
feet
them
would be weird. No, like a feat of strength, or what you will see what our challenge is. Can we get more slack on this cable, please?
More slack?
More slack. Thank you. It's a little toasty out here, but we do it for you. Can I have less slack, please? I want a little tighter. Is it possible to get like a wireless? Thought we had the budget for that. Would you be interested in doing a challenge? We got one. Today, we are performing the $100 challenge. We give you $100. Or, hold on, or don't take it first, let me get to the rest. Or you can drink this glass of lemonade. With glass in it.
Okay, one more time.
$100 to you, or you drink this glass of lemonade with glass in it.
The 100.
You're gonna take the 100. That was so easy, that happened too fast. Are you sure you don't want to drink the glass?
I'm positive.
We may need to rework this whole challenge. I lost my $100 bill. Okay, well, here's the $100. It's an IOU, as in I owe you $100.
With glass in it?
With glass in it.
I think I'd like to take the $100.
Are you sure? The glass is very high quality glass.
Very high quality glass. I mean, it's a tough thought.
Listen to that.
Is there anything that I get for drinking the lemonade with glass?
Just the prestigious honor of drinking a glass full of glass.
I think I'd take the $100.
Dang it, again. Oh, fine. What happened to it? Okay, well, here is $100.
Thank you.
That is worth $100 if you can catch me. He's gonna catch me! Angela, this doesn't make any sense.
I'm sorry.
People, they keep taking the $100. They don't drink the glass of water. It doesn't make any sense.
I just saw it on the internet and I thought that it made sense.
It's not funny. Like, usually they do it the other way around. It's like, hey, you got to drink the glass of water, and then I give you $100.
But this is what Dave pitched for you.
Dave wrote this? Why isn't he out here? I'm out here. It's hot as hell.
He's doing the Lazy Boy reviews.
What? He's reviewing Lazy Boys?
Yeah, in an air-conditioned room right now.
We can hear you talking.
Stop listening. Take the headphones off. All right. Don't. There's a pole there. Don't get the slack. Oh, dude, I'm so sweaty. Dude, the slack. You gotta keep. It's not wireless, dude. This isn't even a handkerchief. This is like a napkin. It's coming apart. Dude, I'm like legit gonna pass out here. Let's get one more. Okay. I gotta take a break. Yo, it's hot. This is a bad idea. Turtleneck was a bad idea. It's salt's in my eye. Sweat, salt. Feels so good. Feel like a fried egg. I'm gonna do a show today. No, it's okay. Don't help me, it's okay. It's next time wireless, all right? Wireless mic. Thank you, Angela, for getting me out here. Would you be interested in doing a challenge for the internet? Sure. Hey, all right.
What kind of challenge is helping?
Oh, it's the best challenge on the internet. It's the $100 challenge.
I love $100.
Everybody does. But you know what people love more than $100?
No.
What I'm gonna give you an option for. So, okay, so the challenge is you get You get. Couldn't you have blocked these streets off while we're doing this? I thought we had a budget. I know. So you get a choice between $100. $100 pretty good, but you get a choice to drink this glass of lemonade.
Okay.
With glass in it.
Okay. It's got glass in it.
There's glass in it.
Okay.
$100, don't hold, or this glass of lemonade with glass in it.
$100 sounds better than glass with lemonade.
Dude, could you pretend to say that you want to drink the glass of one? Okay. $100 or this glass of lemonade with glass in it.
This is a tough one. Sophia, what should I do?
They're contemplating. Just phone a friend.
I'm gonna pick the lemonade with glass in it.
Yeah, all right, let's do it. Okay. We didn't have like a waiver or anything to sign, so it's all up to you. You know, all medical bills will be paid for by you yourself. But great story.
All right, go.
I don't know if I could do this.
Here's $100, whatever.
Yeah!
This was stupid. I hated every second of it. Goodbye.
I subscribe to Normal World. Woo!
Did you get that on film?
Subscribe to Normal World on youtube.com/normalworld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we do it for, just the one person, all right?
That's all we do.
Because we care about you.
And I got to tell you, tomorrow my Lazy Boy review will come in, and some of them were a little bouncy.
Do you know what's even funnier is that you spelled lazy boy like the person, not the recliner.
They told us to not do it.
Is that because it sounds like you're reviewing children?
Yeah. Well, we'll see tomorrow what I was reviewing.
Because they're bouncy, huh?
Yeah.
On your lap?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
they don't like
it
you
was
saying
It
negative
was a
things.
Santa thing. My yard has never looked better. All right, so I do have some questions though for you, Michael. In case the audience doesn't know, but I'm sure they know who you are. Where were you born?
Am I being detained, officer?
Yes.
The hell business
just tell
of
me
yours?
where were you born?
Look, I don't know where you came from.
Show me your papers,
I need to know.
Mike.
Am I getting deported? Is this what this is all about?
yeah.
It's past due.
It's a sting.
It's past
Yeah.
due. I was born in Lvov, Ukraine.
Yeah, and because you've dealt with a lot of this stuff and seen actual, horrors kind of your entire life and growing up with it, like
Did he say horrors?
I have not seen. What horrors have I seen?
Well, not that you've seen horrors, but you grew up under communism.
I came here when I was 2.
Horrors.
You have relatives?
I do. They're here.
Were they there though?
They were.
So you have a mixed bag.
I don't know if it's mixed. What does that mean?
Well, some people grew up under
No,
communism.
we
Some
all
here,
grew
some
up.
there.
All the family was in the USSR, and now we're all out of the USSR.
Right.
And the USSR doesn't exist anymore, obviously.
Well, yeah.
Yes. Is that true?
Or does it?
I was just listening to a Beatles song. Someone should tell them. But right now, honestly, with questions going on, I just have curious of some of your takes on Russia, Ukraine.
I have no idea. Okay.
Can you just try for me?
Yeah, I've got no idea about any of the Ukraine stuff at all.
I get
And
asked
you were
this-
born there.
I get
so-
asked this a lot. It's not like when you're born in a country, you get a download. Like,
Are you sure?
I'm really sure. And I think that all the information out in the news by necessity is propaganda because Putin is watching and so is Zelensky. So you have to give out misinformation because you don't want your enemy to have an honest appreciation of what the situation is on the ground.
What about the coup?
And also, the fact of the matter is, we have no idea, none of us, what pressures Biden and Zelensky and Putin are from various sources. And look at the Cuban Missile Crisis that JFK had to go through in the 60s. Like, only years later was it found out that he basically, cut a deal with Khrushchev and he was allowed to talk about his part. Khrushchev wasn't allowed to talk about his part. So a lot of this stuff goes on behind the scenes that we're never privy to.
That's true. Well, I mean, JFK at least ended well, so I don't think there was anything.
You mean the presidency?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
ended correctly.
I've got another Dallas challenge actually related to that.
Is it back and to the left?
Yes.
Yeah. That's how I give directions here.
Call it the
only.
magic bullet.
When someone's like, "How do you get here?" I go, "You go back to the left."
I want to go to that spot and do a boomerang.
Yeah. Wow. Whoa.
Yeah.
I actually did go to that spot though, just because I did want to see it when I first got there.
I have like a list of like my 10 favorite tweets. And one of them is I don't remember the guy's name. Apologies. I'm a JFK truther. I don't think there was any gunman. I think his head just did that. I'm like, wow, that is amazing. My other
That is
favorite one is
chef's kiss on that.
The other one is like, let's be honest, if Big Bird were real, we'd kill him immediately.
Oh, terrifying.
Sure.
Terrifying.
What about the
Delicious,
Hamburglar?
The Hamburglar?
Yeah. What
It's
about
just-
Grimace?
Yeah.
Grimace is
It's Grimace's birthday, do you know?
Yeah, it's his birthday, but if a big purple thing came at you like that?
It's also Grimace used to be a villain. He used to have 4 hands.
Yeah,
That's
we were
what
talking about that. And now they're celebrating his birthday with a shake for Pride Month?
And do you know who's
He's still a villain.
And do you know whose birthday it is today?
Whose birthday?
Roseanne Barr's son Jake. So happy
Oh,
birthday,
happy
Jake.
birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Jake.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
This is the man who's causing all the flack.
It was all his fault.
Look, I'm laughing like her in the theme song.
It's
Give me
sad.
that pizza.
It's just sad that John Goodman, I think, of all people, walked away from the show.
Have you seen what he looks like now? He looks like FDR's corpse.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah,
weird.
he's deflated.
I just don't
Yeah.
think fat people should be. I'm sorry, obese people, and I speak as one.
Yes.
Should become that thin because you just look like somebody who was once very overweight.
Look at Star Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Al Roker.
yeah. You just look like somebody where you're like, "Where's all your fat?"
Rush Limbaugh. Look how much weight he's lost.
Yeah,
Adele.
I mean, especially now.
Yeah.
but looking good, trim.
Yeah. Yeah. Really
Adele,
gross, though.
Adele looks all right.
She actually does fit the look.
She does look like
Yeah.
somebody who overate because so many boys left.
Yeah.
But now she's comfortably
But now she's
married.
like, I got that money. Who? Hello.
Oh.
It's
I'm
me.
skinny.
What's that noise? Is there fart music?
We have a
no,
frog actually
I-
behind
I
my
have
chair.
I have a disease from alcoholism called Barrett's esophagus.
trying to cover
and every
for it.
now and then it just pops up. And I deliberately have not drank anything with bubbles in it today, and it still decided to flare.
Cool.
So
I
every
just
now and
punch him in
then,
the gut.
my guest host just comes in and is like, "You are an alcoholic."
What an odd way of saying monkeypox.
I know, right? Well,
Yeah.
it's my fault for kneeling in a glory hole all last night. But
Oh my God.
Daddy's
Double
got to
cover.
earn his quarters.
What is going on at the Blaze? Good Lord.
What?
What do you mean? What's
Listen,
not going on?
some
at the
of
Blaze?
us have to earn a living.
Have you seen that Alex Stein show? Crazy.
Yeah, this is hardly.
He's on a
this is
spaceship.
tame.
It's even 1/18th that gay.
Yeah.
Well, he's vegan.
Well,
is he vegan?
Or vegetarian, one of them, yeah.
I didn't know
is that true?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
Not joking.
Didn't know.
Wow, happy Pride.
Wow. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Well, it's a whole month of.
I can never trust him again.
Did you see the videos of the Pride Parade where they're saying you're coming for our children? We're coming for your
Yeah.
children.
Did you see I ratioed the NBC News?
You did.
No, did you really?
Yeah, because
Point.
NBC News had a tweet that said, according to experts, they've been chanting for years that we're coming for your kids, and I just put asterisk coming CUMMING. And then my friend Amanda, she replied, she goes, the claim that like we've been doing this for years and you've only just noticed isn't really a defense.
That's not a defense at
Not
all.
at all. Also, yeah, just because you changed on to 4 doesn't make
Yeah.
it better.
Yeah.
No. Disgusting.
It really is messed up, though, that's... Well, and George
Well, they're-
Takei defended it.
But they're trolling.
Of course he did. It's
Yeah.
George Takei.
They are
Well, of
trolling.
course they're trolling,
It's
yeah.
not of course. I think a lot of people think, look, they're admitting it. It's like they're effing with you.
Yeah,
I think
that
what's
was the
messed
whole
up-
song that they did in San Francisco.
Right.
The San Francisco choir, they did that. We're coming for your kids. It's just not a good look, and I don't think parents appreciate it. It's not really a joke.
Well,
when it's
it
like
is
your kids.
they're trying to get the parents upset. That's the point of trolling.
Right.
And they're being successful at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just think involving kids, though, you are going to piss off the right people. It's
Yeah.
very easy.
Yeah, it's really easy to upset people when you mess with their kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is your goal to get punched in the face? Is that
But I mean,
the
that's
goal?
kind of your goal to get hurt.
I don't think they're really getting it. I think they're protected class. No one's punching these people in the face.
No, I don't see it. But
Yeah.
I'm saying that you could rile up the wrong person.
That's the thing.
That's
is
what I
that
worry
they
about.
pretend that they are such like a class of people that are getting attacked, but they never do get attacked. Like, I would feel like there would be more attack videos if that was the case.
Well, there's
But that's
different
not the
ways
case.
to attack people
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
How
you
is
know?
that? Just questioning their
No, I mean like
moral
like
arguments?
with cancel culture stuff and like, you know, coming for people online, like making them seem like they're hateful and bigots and things like that. You don't have to punch somebody in the face anymore to come for someone.
I can't punch people in the face. So
Why's that?
Hmm?
Why is that?
limp wrists.
Ah,
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
happy
Just
pride.
Yeah.
It looks it's just bad.
Yeah. It's not a good look.
2 people squaring off with limp wrists. Just a silly duel. Well, is that your take on all of it, though? Really, that you think it's sort of just a trans troll?
It's not a trans. It's a gay troll. They're
really, yeah.
really clearly. It's worked phenomenally as a troll, but at the same time, it's kind of like when you're half joking and you know how it is, like how when you're talking to someone and they make these like racial jokes and they're kind of feeling you out to be like, oh, can I drop the mask?
Like
so
this whole episode.
Yeah, obviously. So there's also an element of like, yeah, they're screwing with you, like we're coming for your kids, ha ha. Yeah. Like, look, we're upsetting like the right or whoever. But there's an element of it's like, well, this isn't all just jokes, because if you look at the stuff that teach kindergartners and all these other things, it's completely inappropriate. The things that these drag shows, it's just very inappropriate for kids, and they know that the kids are there.
Well, of course. I mean, that's why they're being invited. But I mean, the same as when I get into like an Uber, I feel like, you know, or whatever, Lyft, I don't know if we're allowed to say names, car services, and you get in and the
Ride
guy's,
share.
the guy's like, boy, I'm not saying Trump was the best president. And I'm like, I swore I hit Quiet Ride.
You're not paying for the XL. You don't get the Quiet Ride option, Landau.
Son, I will go
Who do you think you are, Glenn Beck?
I will go into debt for the Quiet Ride. That is how valuable that is to me, that this guy doesn't speak with me. And I'm not saying that I'm better than him, but I am.
Just don't want to talk you.
Well, I don't want to do this.
No, yeah.
I'm like, I want to look at my
I hate small
phone.
talk.
You're a driver. It's nothing against you.
I get paid to talk. I'm not doing it for free.
Right.
Don't you know who I am? I'm the head of Normal World.
Right.
Cost me a 20.
This is my show. Our show.
You should be paying me to be in your car.
Yeah. Just drive your car and stop being like, listen, I'm not saying I'm a climate denier. And I'm like, look, I don't want to do this. Stop talking. Look, let's leave work at my work.
Look, I get it.
So you do have a new book out, though, which I'm very excited about. And I've actually read.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Because I didn't actually realize how far, communism in one way, and also just propaganda went back into Hollywood to the very roots of it.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I wrote it, is there's this idea in conservative circles, which is really drives me kind of crazy. They live in this kind of childlike perpetual present where things started getting bad 30 years ago, and it's always 30 years ago, and it's like in the 90s it was the 60s, and now it's things are good until the 90s, and it's just like, no, it's everyone. I mean, conservatives who understand their history know it's a very obvious example that Nancy Davis, later Nancy Reagan, met Ronald Reagan because there was another Nancy Davis in Hollywood who was a communist, and she wanted to clear her name. So even they understand that in like 30s and 40s they were communists, but they still insist that they were all conservatives until 30 years ago. And it's like, this has been going on for a century. Yeah. This conservative lie that the left seized these institutions, like they built these institutions. They've been running them from the beginning.
For a long time.
So this claim that we're going to take Hollywood back from what, the Stalinists? Like, what are you talking about?
That's what I found so bizarre, because even like I started learning film like right out of high school, right into college, and none of that was taught at all that I read in your book. I was actually pretty surprised by it. Because you almost look at it through that entire liberal angle of what a lot of, conservatives hold valuable now. So, and you look at what a lot of Americans hold valuable now, I should say. Yeah. So to actually see how deeply seated it was from the get-go, I found it to be really disturbing.
Well, actually. I think like originally the propaganda was just not as hard as it is now. I think a lot of people have woken up to that.
Well,
maybe that's why they feel like
but
that.
You'd be surprised how much it was in there.
Really?
Sorry, go ahead, yeah.
But the propaganda wasn't necessarily communism's great. It was very subtly undermining things that are pro-freedom.
That's what I mean. It's like it was slowly kind of getting in, and it wasn't so overt like it is today. And I think a lot of people now, they see it so much, and they're like, whoa, this is everywhere. So it feels like Hollywood's being taken over because it's changing so much.
Yeah, I mean, the way you wrote it was more creating a normalcy or something to get used to sort of over time.
Yeah.
And it's extremely successful, and that's what I find kind of scary about it.
Turning the pot up on that.
Yes, the frog. Yes, that's exactly how they work. So, I mean, people who think, again, Americans have this idea that, propaganda beats you over the head.
Right.
It's much more sinister and pernicious. I'll give you a very obvious example of how this is something that's central to leftism. I think everyone here understands that a lot of times people are bad. People knowingly, consciously choose to do the wrong thing. They will choose to cheat on their wife. They will choose to, if they got a meeting, they're going to go do drugs or, have an affair or just steal when they could get away with it. And you never see that in TV. Like, people don't consciously do the wrong thing unless they're like pure evil, unless they're the villain. But a lot of times just regular people, like the guy at the post office who has your medicine, doesn't want to give it to you because the You know, the address on your driver's license doesn't exactly match this, and he's getting off that little sense of power.
Yeah.
That to me is evil, but you don't really see that in movies because the idea is like on TV, because the people are basically good. And that is another example, in my view, of propaganda where it puts forth the idea that only evil people do evil things. It's like, well, there's very few like really evil people, but the kind of evil that happens on a day-to-day basis, as was exemplified during COVID, where like people felt comfortable doing just absolutely reprehensible things to their countrymen and then bragging about it in social media. That's the kind of thing you don't really see in Hollywood fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more. And that is something that really did bother me about COVID, was it kind of exposed... Well, I shouldn't say kind of. It did expose people in their true nature, which was not only good and bad, but sort of this extremely layered being that's capable of doing both.
Yeah.
And that's really what freaks me out about today, because I think it just showed from that time to now how willing people were to hurt others for pure joy.
Desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that was so disturbing about that. It was, people could be so... And I thought before that it was like most people are... polite to each other and open the door, say thank you, whatnot, and then they just turned into monsters. People that will come up to you and have like this happened to my wife. Of course, I wasn't there because it never happens when I was there. He had a mask on, walked up to her at the store, and she wasn't wearing a mask, and he took it off and said, "You don't care about me?" And she was like, "What are you talking about? You're not wearing a mask. You don't care about my life?" It's like, you are coming into my space. So yeah, it's like the delusional of that. It's like, I don't care about you.
My friend Derek has a joke about that because he's like, I'm buying whiskey and shit. He's like, you don't care about my life? He's like, I don't care about my life. Why would I care?
What do you think?
One of the things that was disturbing to me when I was writing the book was this journalist, Anna Funder, she wrote a book called Stasi-Land, and she talked to a recruiter for the secret police, the Stasi, in East Germany. And I think it was like some huge percentage of the population were Stasi informants. And I had been even under the impression that in these countries, it's like they bring you in, you know, and you're being arrested. It's like, all right, you got to give me 8 names, or we're gonna, take out you and your family. And I'm gonna drop Dave Landau, Glenn Beck, Stu Berger. It's like, great. I'll name whoever. I'll do what I need to do to get the heck out of here. And he's like, that's not what happened. These people were like lonely or bored. We didn't have to pressure them. They were banging down our door, and some of them just wanted someone to talk to, and it made them feel good to have something over other people. And COVID, it was hard for us as Americans, I think, to wrap our heads around that. And then when COVID happened, you see, oh, this is spot on. America's not magic. There are so many people who are desperate to turn in their neighbor, and not only be proud of themselves for it. Not like, okay, I was pressured, it's them or me, I got to pick me.
Well, and willing to fold, and I'm not even saying it like the Holocaust or anything like that, but if you look at the comparison, pretending a group is diseased.
Oh, yeah.
When they divided a country in half, where you had to pretend, and doing things that made no sense. I had a friend who, almost lost his restaurant while you're building a restaurant outside. Then they go, oh, look, you can't eat on your patio without it being covered. So I have to cover my fake restaurant I built outside.
Well, my friends. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, please.
No, I was gonna say my good friend Gary at Neurotic, his wife had a salon in San Francisco, and they came in and shut her entire salon down. She was doing great. It was like finally she had a great salon, and they came and shut it down. That same week or the week after that, you had Nancy Pelosi getting a blowout.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, what the hell are you talking about? So you get to have your own little blowout, but I can't have a business. It's fucking so dark.
Well, and that's what bothered so many people in Michigan, which is why I'm surprised about the re-election of Gretchen Whitmer, is because you have, on tape, her husband calling up and saying, I'd like to get my boat out. And they're like, well, we can't. There's laws put in by our government. And it's like, well, what if I told you I was the husband to the governor? And it's like, well, then I would tell you you're never allowed to bring your boat here. And it just showed the corruption where it's like, so you don't believe what you're pushing on other people, and you don't mind the fact that you're hurting other people. And that's what bothers me so much, is it all turns into personal gain for somebody else. Yeah. That's not a benefit of a society. That's just hurting others and letting people suffer. And that's why I've talked to you about it. I have zero trust in government. None.
Yeah.
And the last few years have taught me that. And then reading your book, it's disheartening, but it at least shows that, my feelings aren't wrong.
Oh.
Do you think that we were always like this? It was just under the surface?
Yes, of course. Human beings have always been like this.
Yeah.
If you look at like what I always tell people, if they ask me, if you want to understand how people work, the best show is to watch The Dog Whisperer. Humans and dogs co-evolved. The psychology is very similar. So if you train a dog to attack whoever comes at the door, it's not thinking. It's just like, is it wrong to do this? It just knows I'm going to get rewarded if I do this action. And human beings, if they're like, all right, I'm low status, the only thing I can offer is to be obedient. They're not going to think of the consequences. They just want their patent. They want their treat and a pat in the head.
Especially now when their treat is a dopamine hit from the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Now they get to be on TV. They get to be someone important. They feel like that guy with the Stasi. They get to feel like they have something to hold over somebody else. So automatically they're not at the bottom, right?
And it's not just the government going, you did a good job.
It's the
everybody
news.
on
It's
the
media.
news.
Yep.
It's the media.
Karen,
it's the actors. It's all of those.
Karen,
saying, you did a good job. Look at you.
Thank you for keeping my grandma safe.
Yeah.
It's insane. Well, Michael,
it's
thank
perfectly
you.
sane.
Well, yeah. For their,
That's what's scary
for
about
what
it.
they're doing for them, yes, it makes perfect sense.
That's what's scary about it. Is like we thought we lived in a society
we
that
did.
was
Who's
sane.
we?
Well, me. And then we found out that we didn't. We
There's
lived in a
no we,
society
dude.
of people
This is
that
you.
are just crazy.
They're not crazy. They're perfectly. Dogs aren't crazy. They follow a logic.
No, it's true. And sadly, we just ran out of time.
Oh no!
Which, Mike, thank you so much for coming. I want you to come back, and we have a wonderful sketch coming out that we shot earlier today. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. But please check out Michael's books. They're all great. Dear Reader, The New Right, The Anarchist Handbook, which I think I need to read. That one I have not, but I think I need to.
I'll give you a copy.
Please.
You have to buy one, Garrett.
I will buy one. It's because I'm black.
The White Pill, which I have read, very much enjoyed. And especially if you're into movies, I realize it's not necessarily a movie book, but I think it's very, very important that you read it. And tune into You're Welcome on YouTube and wherever you can get podcasts. It's on everywhere you get podcasts.
Yes, of course,
right?
yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't know if it was banned from anywhere.
Yes,
Amazon podcast.
Yes, ma'am.
Wait, what the fuck?
He, her.
This is my show.
Zeezer. And if you want to catch me, I'll be at Big L's in Emily, Minnesota this weekend, July 1st. I'll be at the Comedy Zone in Jacksonville, Florida, July 14th and 15th. And then the Funny Bone in Columbus, Ohio, July 21 and 22.
And you can catch me on my channel, my personal channel, and Friday Night Tights on Nerdrotic channel, and Adam Krigler's channel on Based Staff Mondays.
Oh, Adam's great.
Adam's awesome. We got to get him on the show sometime.
Yeah, that's true. And then you can join us tomorrow night. We will be back with Matt McClowery and another special guest, I believe. So we will see. We'll see you tomorrow night, 10, 9 Central. Join us right here, Blaze TV, Normal World. Thank you all for joining us.
Normal World.
Bye.